We're here today with fitness enthusiast and language learner Daniele Scuteri to talk about challenges and obstacles. Seeking, embracing, overcoming, and loving them. That is how you level up your life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. At work, home, school, gym, and play. Embrace the pain, push your limits, and enjoy the journey. This is my conversation with Daniele Scuteri. So today let's talk about physical challenges, how to embrace them, the benefits of them, how to get ourselves into them, the neurochemistry, all kinds of good stuff. You, as a child, you did karate for 8 or 9 years. You got a black belt. You were in soccer, football. I guess you're there in Italy. You played in an amateur league. You've done Spartan races, CrossFit. You're a general fitness enthusiast. You've got all kinds of experience embracing physical challenges, right?
Yeah.
So, from your understanding, what is happening in the brain of someone while they're engaging in these physical challenges, or maybe afterwards? Maybe it's the brain completely changes in the general everyday life, say compared to someone who maybe is taking life easy, getting comfortable all the time, not quite embracing those challenges. If you don't understand sort of the brain mechanisms, that's totally cool. Talk about it and explain it in whatever way makes sense to you.
First of all, Michael, I'd like to say a big thank you to you because it's an honor for me being here. And if I totally understand your words, you're asking me to talking about the experience, about the challenges, and how these challenges could help us to our life journey.
Right. Talk about physical challenges, the experience of it, the neurochemistry of it, anything, any way that you want to explain it from.
Perfect. So, as you introduced me, I played soccer, football. I did karate for a lot of years, and now I'm into CrossFit. And I think that sport challenges are a very important keys to overcome our natural obstacles. During these challenges, you have to force your body, you have to force your mind to face difficulties. And this is very important for our brain because, it's like that you are creating a sort of a challenging, safe environment. And this help you to face these challenges because you are constructing this environment. It's a safe environment. It's not dangerous, and this help your brain to understand its limits. And I think that the brain works as the body. There is a strong connection as we train our brain. As we train our body, we can just train our brain. And I think that it's an amazing thing because this opens us to unbelievable opportunities. I think that we can train a lot our mind just as we train our body. And about the neurochemistry and neuroscience topics, I really love Andrew Huberman. I think that he's the GOAT. He's sharing a lot of unbelievable knowledge about this world. And I'm trying in my little environment to applicate some of his concepts. And, this world is so deep. And every day I'm trying to little with a daily effort through, for example, mindfulness. And I'm discovering the breathing world. And I think that breath work is an amazing tool for dealing with challenges.
Okay, so let's talk about breathwork then. That's one of the tools that you use to sort of prep to get into to get ready for physical challenges. But perhaps breathwork itself could be a challenging experience in itself. Talk about the types of breathwork exercises that you use before, during, after these sort of challenging athletic endeavors.
Totally. I'd like to ask you just a little question. Before to introduce the topic of the breathing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk a little about why I introduced these techniques in my life, if it's fine for you.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Sounds good.
Okay, so I went through a little bit difficult period during the last year because, the world of the work is changing quickly. And this changement impacted me last year because I started working for a beautiful company 9 years ago in Milano, and this experience it was very important for me because I started working as a CGI artist in the architectural visualization field. And after we were just 10 people when I joined the company, and now we are more or less 115 people. So the company grew very quickly, and I became a manager in a very few years. And I did that beautiful job work for 6 years. Last year, there were some changes in the company, and I'm not working as a manager anymore. And I came back to the previous role as a CGI artist. This moment was very challenging for me, but through these amazing tools like breathwork, mindfulness, the coaching journey that I'm doing with my amazing coach Nicolas helped me a lot to overcome these difficult periods. And now I'm really happy because I'm still working for this company. I have a different role, but I'm glad that I'm surrounded by a lot of amazing people. And this for me is very important because I'd like to tell to other people that the challenges situations are just a part of the journey. They are very important, and we can see them as opportunities. And I think that the situations that I had to overcome was very important for me, and I learned a lot of incredible stuff during this period.
Okay, so it's not just physical athletic challenges, it's work challenges, relationship challenges, any sort of personal challenges, cognitive, educational ones, etc. And it sounds like what you're saying is these sort of cross over with one another. They overlap by practicing facing challenges in one area of life, say on the sports field or in the office. That makes you more prepared to be able to do so in any other areas of your life. And really, these areas of life aren't really separate from one another. They're kind of all connected and influencing one another.
Yes, this is an amazing question, man, because in the past I used to watch to my life just as separate in separate compartments. So I just recognized three different compartments: my work, my relationship, and my sports stuff. So in the last few years, I started to approach to this field in a different way. I can say more holistic way, and I think that every aspect of our life is connected. I think that this changing of perspective is crucial because if you are able to prioritize your needs like your physical, your mental health, you will be able to be more productive at work. And if you will be able to be more productive at work, maybe you will have a better relationship with others. And this changing of perspective for me is a crucial point, and I'm really glad that I discover this new world because, he is a very game changer.
So it's about connection with the various areas of our life, not just social connections, but connections between the areas of life, say relationships and study and work and athletics, etc. And when we feel connected with ourselves, with our life, but also with each other, or maybe with our environment, the world, we feel better, we feel happier, but we also get more done, and we are more successful, and we achieve our goals even better.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely agree with your words. And now I think that it's the moment to come back to your previous question about breath work, because, everything is connected. And I think that in this very important period of my life, the breath work was a very crucial point. I think that constancy and discipline are very important parts of life because you can construct your personal journey. I'm trying to do that with my daily routine. And usually in the morning, I practice mindfulness and breath work just for 20-25 minutes. And this practice is very transformative. I think that you can just train your body and you can work with your breath. I read recently a beautiful book, The Oxygen Advantage, and this book led to me to a better awareness about the breathing world. I think that breath work is a very beautiful practice, and there are a lot of variety options to practice breath work. I follow a beautiful channel on YouTube called Breathe with Sandy. There are a lot of guided breathwork sessions, and every morning before the breakfast, I used to practice this guided session with my bugs. And this practice, it was unbelievable because when you work on the breath, you are communicated to your brain. I think that with breath, you can stimulate your nervous system. There are two different types of nervous system: the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. For example, with gently exhale, you will activate the parasympathetic nervous system that will help you to manage your stress, your anxiety. And if you think about that, it's so powerful. We can influence our mind just with our breath. When I discovered that, I said, is that true? Is that possible to influence our minds, our thoughts, just with our breath? And I discovered a very deep curiosity about this topic, and I started to practice every day to discover this amazing world. And it's just a journey. I'm in the middle of, or maybe just at the beginning of this journey, but every day I'm discovering a lot of amazing stuff thanks to the briefing.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing these resources. Keep them coming because we're having a conversation right now, but there's lots of great books and great podcasts, YouTube channels, etc. that are sharing even more. So I think it's great just to share these great resources. You talked about a couple different types of breath, the exhale, which seems to sort of activate our parasympathetic nervous system. Some famous examples, yeah, you mentioned Andrew Huberman. He's a big proponent of the physiological side. I think we all know about that one now. And there's the other Andrew Weil, with the 4-7-8 breath. So that's 8 seconds out, emphasizing the exhale once again. But then there's other ones that are sort of activating our energy, our alertness, our sympathetic nervous system. Think Wim Hof and Stanislav Grof. Well, it rhymes. Hof and Grof. Wim Hof method. Look that up. I think it's pretty famous now. And then the holotropic breathwork with Stanislav Grof. I guess over in Europe, they like to activate the sympathetic nervous system, it seems. And these American guys, these Andrew Americans, are doing the parasympathetic stuff. This is overgeneralization. There's only 4 people in the sample size. But yeah, my point is, when would you want to engage in these more parasympathetic ones versus the sympathetic ones? I guess it's common sense. When do you want to feel calm? When do you want to get sort of excited and amped up? Yes, so there's these sort of 2 styles, and when in terms of engaging in physical challenges, say before it or after it or whatever, or it could be at work as a CGI artist at the architect firm. Yeah, and then one more is box breathing, which sort of is a balance between these 2 states. It's 4, 4, 4, 4, or 8, 8, 8, 8, or however many seconds you want to do it for. But yes, this is a super long question. I apologize, but yeah, parasympathetic type exercises focusing on the exhale, sympathetic ones focusing on the inhale, and then these sort of more balanced ones, such as box breathing. When have you found each of these sort of 3 types to be useful?
Sure, absolutely. A very long question, but I will try to answer to that. Feel free to lead me if I take a different path.
Right. I'm testing your short-term memory here. You have to hold all that long question in your brain. I apologize, but it's what it is now, huh?
Totally. So, there are different types of breathing styles. And I used to, in my experience, I love practicing, for example, Wim Hof breathing if I have to deal with the challenges during the day. Or if I have to run a Spartan race, maybe the right breathing style before the race will be the Wim Hof, because you have to communicate to your brain that you are ready for the challenge. And a very strong breathing like Wim Hof help you to activate your system. The Wim Hof method, the Wim Hof breathing style is also very important to produce warm, because one of the pillars of the Wim Hof method is called exposure. And I think that in this situation, Wim Hof is perfect. If you have to calm your mind, if you have to deal with maybe challenging, but you have to feel very focused, you have to feel very calm, maybe you have to activate your parasympathetic system. And box breathing is perfect in this case, because you are working with gently exhale, and this is very helpful to calm your mind. Before our interview, I just practiced a new one. There is a pranayama technique. I'm not so expert about this field, but I'm trying to discover new stuff about this word because it's very interesting. And you have to practice your breath work with your eyes open, and you have to focus your attention just on one object during all the session. And this is very good if you practice that with constancy. It's very good to work on your focus.
This bridges very nicely into meditation and the mindfulness practices that you were talking about. There's lots of different kinds of meditations. Some are more sort of focus based, say focusing on the breath or focusing on a sound or a part of your body. And there's others that are more kind of generally, I guess we can call open awareness, not focusing on anything in particular. And then again, I guess these also kind of activate one or the other side of the autonomic nervous system. I guess the open awareness ones will be more parasympathetic, and the more focus based ones would be sympathetic. Again, this is an overgeneralization, but I mean everything kind of is. What kind of meditations or mindfulness tactics are you using?
This is another beautiful question because, I started read about mindfulness maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And I felt that I want to insert this technique in my world. But I tried, I also buy some application to try to force me to do this routine, but I didn't find the right way for me to implement mindfulness. I find a beautiful match thanks to the breathing. So I talked with you before about breathwork and mindfulness because for me are just the same thing. Because the breathwork helped me to reach my mindful state, and when I discovered this breathing technique, I discovered my mindful world.
Let's talk about another practice that you use, a challenging practice, I would say, but that also helps you be able to better handle challenges in the future. Cold exposure, cold baths, cold swims, whatever it is you do. Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about cold exposure.
For me, it's very, very challenging because I'm not a very hot person. I really suffer the cold. And, it's very, very challenging. I think that it's not just a physical, but it's a mental thing because I think that through cold exposure, you can work just on your mind too. Because every day doing that, it's very, very difficult. And I'd like, before to go deeper about the mental stuff, I'd like to talk a little bit about how I practice that. There are a lot of typology, a lot of different practice to practice cold exposure. In my experience, I'm experiencing the cold shower. So I started 2 years ago doing that more or less every day. Now I'm doing that every single day. And I started just to embrace the cold just a little piece at time. At the beginning, I did just 10 or 20 seconds after a hot shower to close the shower session. I used to have just 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And then I tried to improve a little bit this routine. And now I'm able to stay under the cold shower 5 minutes. I'm doing that every single day. And why I'm doing that? Because there are a lot of interesting stuff, beautiful benefits that are correlated with a cold shower. For example, an amazing boom of endorphin. you know, I feel that I'm very happy through the day. And I think that this is thanks to my breath work and mindfulness and also cold exposure. And also after that, I think that the cold exposure is very important to embrace a challenging environment every day, and these help you to improve your stress management. I just recently did the performance appraisal in the company where I'm working, and all the people that judge me said that I have a very strong capacity to manage the stress. And I think that is thanks to my daily practice. It's very difficult every day rotate the temperature from hot to cold and stay for 5 minutes every day. But I think that this discomfort helps us to manage the daily challenges. And I think that as I said at the beginning of our interview, we can find a lot of strength thanks to the challenging moments and thanks to the challenging situations.
It seems like the attitude or the perception of the challenges, the mindset, also plays a huge role in this because you can imagine another person going into the cold water and getting very stressed out in a bad way, not enjoying it, hating it, or someone being on the soccer field or doing karate and it being too challenging for them, so they start complaining and they don't like it, or at work. So, talk about the role of mindset of shifting it into a more positive way, enjoying it, liking it, loving it. One, how to even start liking it. Does it start happening automatically because it's just like a biopsychological, physical thing? Or do you deliberately find ways to enjoy it more? Yes, talk about mindset, how to change our mindset, and the role that the mindset plays in all of this.
I think that every person has a different brain, has a different body, and we are different. And this is the starting point. So I think that every person has to find his personal way to create a strong mindset and also fulfill this and a happy life. There are some tips and tricks that I think that everyone can try to applicate to find his personal path. The most important keys is fall in love with the process. I think that we can talk about science, we can talk about every type of stuff, but the key factor is falling in love with the process. If you love what you are doing, you will be able to find the right constancy in the mid and long term. And I think that you can always find a way to enjoy the process. For example, I like working out, and for me, it's very simple going to my CrossFit box for doing that because I love it. If you don't like CrossFit or if you don't like go to the gym, maybe you can find the motivation just for 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe 2 months, but it's not enough. You have to transform that in your lifestyle. Maybe you don't like go to the gym, but you like dancing. So you can transform that into your routine. You have to find a way to move your body. And this is a very important thing because our body is designed to move. And, through the movement, we can start to unwrap your stillness. Because thanks to the working out or every type of activity that you want to start, then your body starts to produce amazing neurotransmitters like dopamine, endorphin, a lot of amazing stuff that help you to find the right motivation for doing that with constancy.
Okay, so find and select a movement type exercise that you like, that might go back to your childhood of what you liked back then, of how your nervous system is wired, or it could be have been anything else. But like in my case, I do enjoy swimming. I don't enjoy playing baseball or American football or whatever. I never did. And the same thing goes for the creative stuff, I don't want to, I don't enjoy visual art, painting, drawing, but I love writing. I love podcasting. So, yeah, I don't have to do the painting. I don't have to play the baseball. It's fine. I can do the podcast. I can go swimming. That works. And you'll change over time. That's okay. But yeah, it seems like what you're saying is find find a movement that you do enjoy, or that you at least like a little bit. And then probably by doing it more and more and more for various reasons, you will start to like it even more, perhaps start loving it. And then you can segue into something similar. Who knows? But start where you are. Start with something that you like.
Yeah. And if I add a little bit more point, I think that it's for some people, maybe when I had the same situation, starting with some challenging situations in life, it could be very challenging. So maybe we can't reach that alone. And as I said before, I started a coaching journey 2 years ago with an amazing person, Nicolas Luna from Texas. And this journey was very transformative. I'm here thanks to my coaching journey because 2 years ago, I wasn't able to talk in English with people because I studied it very bad. during the school. And so I started this learning coaching journey with Nicolas. And this journey started to become a true coaching journey where Nicolas helped me to find my way. I started posting on LinkedIn because I want to find a way to practice English every day. And so I didn't know how to start. And the work I did with Nicolas helps me to unwrap all my mental thoughts and find my way. And this was amazing because now I'm able to talk with people all around the world. And at the same time, I'm talking about my passion. I really love talking on LinkedIn about sport challenges, about personal growth, about neuroscience. It's amazing. And, if in some circumstance, it's very difficult to find our personal way. For example, in my experience, it was very easy find my way to in the sport world because I started as a child practicing karate. I played soccer, so I love it. It's my world. But there are some part of our life where we are blocked. There are some parts of my life where I have some blocks too. But this awareness help us to working on that. And then when you find the way, the energy to start, you can find a lot of opportunities and you can feel amazing.
Yeah, and I highly recommend following you on LinkedIn. Your posts are beautifully written. They're motivating. Just reading through your posts is probably more beneficial than reading through 80% of published books. So I do enjoy that, and it seems like all that jumping into those English challenges, neuroscience challenges, mixing them together are paying off. And now you're on a podcast. Like people are gonna listen to this. It's all in English. I talk a little fast. I ask long questions. What's your experience like right now? Like doing this podcast, do you feel? I mean, it's great. You're jumping into a new challenge, and even it's beyond writing on LinkedIn. Speaking and listening, ooh, that's the hardest. What does your body and brain feel like right now?
I'm really excited, man, because I really love embracing challenging. So this is my world, and I'm really excited about that because I know that with these situations that I'm out of my comfort zone. These are the situations where you can grow. And so maybe I can make some excuses like, oh no, I'm not still ready to do that or something like that. But no, I'm ready. I'm ready, and I want to embrace this challenge. This morning I did my cold shower, I did my breath work, my breakfast, etc. I did my strong routine, and I'm really excited to embrace this challenge too.
Yeah. I think this is challenging for me too every time I do a podcast because it's usually my first time to meet somebody. I've never met them. They're often from a completely different culture. In this case, I mean, you might be the first Italian person I had a conversation with in my life. Which it's not a huge challenge, but it's still you're someone new. I've never talked to someone who I've probably met a black belt. I live in Japan. I'm sure there are plenty of black belts I've unknowingly been talking to. But I mean, someone with your experience and your mind, and it can make you nervous, but it's exciting. And every time I learn so much from it, and I grow. And actually, I remember the conversation much more than if I was just like, say, watching TV or even reading a book. It's so engaging. It's like my nervous system is activated and ready that I'm learning. I'm excited. I am a bit nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. It is challenging, but I like it, and it's a great way for me to learn. Let's travel back in time to your karate days. This is elementary school, junior high. It seems you were talking about how everything is connected. Even life itself is connected. That 8-year old, that 10-year old, 12-year old is still part of you. What did karate teach you in terms of being able to push through these physical challenges, to work hard, patience, to take difficult actions, to talk about karate and how that is still part of you.
I started practicing karate when I was 6 years old, and I practiced that for 8 years. So karate was, like a school for me because it's a very hard sport, and as a child, I learned a lot of lessons. During the training, you have, for example, keep some difficult position for a lot of time. So I think that training, I didn't realize that when I was a child. I realized that recently, but that strong training helps me to build a strong resilience. And I have to say a big thank you to my parents because when I was after 4 years of practice, I started practice football, soccer at the same time, and I love soccer more than karate. But after 4 years, I remember that I was at home and I ran to my mother crying and I said, "Oh, mom, I don't want to go to karate lessons anymore." And because I didn't enjoy anymore. I remember that moment because it was very important for me. It's very clear in my mind this particular moment because my father and my mother said to me, "You can do whatever you want, but you can never give up. You can't give up at the first time that you feel that you are not enjoy anymore that. So you have to give another chance to karate." And this is a very turning point because after that, I subscribed to a different gym with new people, and I had the possibility to won an Italian medal to a national championship when I was 12 years old. And I did that with other two amazing guys. And, it was an amazing experience because winning a gold Italian medal was for me an amazing experience.
Oh yeah, so social connection, yeah, influences from parents. This guy named Nicholas, which I might want to get into it a bit later, talk about what he taught you. But yeah, social connection and the people you're playing with, maybe the people in the crowd. There's lots of people involved in sports and in these activities. Yeah, talk about the role of social connection in keeping you motivated, keeping you going, and increasing your optimizing your actual performance.
For me, sports is social connections because it's the best way to connect with to true connect with other people, and you can develop a lot of beautiful and amazing relationship with other people. And the role of social connection is help you also in challenging situations because if you are into challenging sports and hard things, you will encounter a lot of difficult stuff, a lot of obstacles. If you are alone, these obstacles will be so big. But if you do that with other people that help you, that surrounded you, they help you when you need it, this is a very key factor of the sports environment. And this community is amazing to grow because you are growing because you are able, thanks to them, to overcoming obstacles, and at the same time they are growing too, so it's a win-win. For example, in my CrossFit experience, CrossFit is very very challenging. There is a man, Andrea Prando, and there is one, Lorenzo Pennati. They are two my friends, and they push hard, very, very hard, more than me. And they keep me motivated to push hard because they are just a great inspiration for me. So I see them not with jealousy because they reach better results than me, but I see them just as an inspiration. So I think that this is the real key factor about sports and social connections.
Yeah, because if you feel alone, I mean, even if you're on a team, but for some reason, like you can imagine, you're not popular, people make fun of you, they might bully you or something. You don't feel connected. You don't feel connected. You're not going to feel safe. But when you do feel you can trust one another and you're working together, you feel safer. I guess that is activating that parasympathetic side of ourselves. So if we were alone, it might be too challenging. It might be too overwhelming. It might be too scary, and we might give up. But it's like the other people balance it out a little bit, so we can keep going because we are not alone. We can do it together.
Yeah, you explained in a perfect way this concept because the people around you help you to find a balance.
Let's talk about. You said you liked soccer better. What was it about soccer that you enjoyed more, and what new challenges did it open up for you that weren't possible with karate?
So I decided to leave karate because after 8 years, the training were very intense, and I was training 4 times a week for karate and 2 times a week for soccer. And so I decided to leave karate because after a lot of years, I didn't enjoy it anymore. But I'm also glad to practice karate because as I said before, I learned a lot of lessons, and I recently discovered a lot of connection with mindfulness because karate is a very spiritual activity. And about soccer, it's difficult to describe my love for this world because the sensations of scoring a goal is something unbelievable, man. I played soccer for 20 years as an amateur level. I didn't reach the level that I reached in karate field, but the sensation before the match, the physical contact with other players, and as I said before, the sensations of scoring a goal is something undescribable. Just be better of an orgasm.
What role does the audience play in this? There is audience in the Spartan games, in soccer, in karate too. There might be different kinds of crowds and audiences. Sometimes they boo, hopefully not to you. Sometimes they cheer you on. How big of an impact does this audience, these people you don't know, but they're there. They're humans there, and there's a lot of them. Probably a lot for you. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. But yeah, what role does the crowd or the audience play in all of this?
I think that the audience plays a very important role for my experience, especially at the beginning. So when you enter in the field, when you, or for example, in my last experience for the IROX race, when you enter in the arena, you see a lot of people and surrounded by these amazing people that look at you and cheer you is very exciting. In my experience, during the race, or for example, during the football match, I try to be focused on the activity, and it's like being in a bottle. So I didn't pay attention to the people around me because I'm focused on the activity. But the sensation and the environment is something unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I've been learning too. Is like to get good at something. I mean, it's very obvious. They say it all the time, but you have to focus. You have to find your one thing. Once I started cutting out alcohol, I should date, but cutting out dating, just whatever. I'll be single for a couple years. Cutting out all the fun little vacations and whatever, and just like, okay, I'm going to learn about neuroscience and I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to stop reading as many history books or philosophy. I'll read them sometimes, but the more I can just focus on this, I feel better, and I think I'm getting better at it. So there's all kinds of distractions in life. On the field, there's the audience. So yeah, I guess if you're paying too much attention to them, then you're going to lose focus on the bigger task. So I guess we have to choose what is the most important thing. It's hard to just pull yourself away from a crowd of people, but I guess you learn how to. Let's talk about goals. How do you set your goals for your CrossFit, for your Spartan games, or maybe how you did back in the soccer and karate days? Yeah, how should we think about goal setting in order to optimize our motivation, our progress, our output, and perhaps also our enjoyment?
This is another very interesting question because I think that we have to set our goals, and it's very important to set goals because without that, it's like that you have not the compass to move. We don't know where you are going, and setting the goals is one of the first things that you have to do. I think that after setting the goals, you have to shift your perspective. This is my personal opinion. You have to shift your perspective from the goals to the journey. This is very important because you spend your life through the journey. When you reach the goal, you have a boost of dopamine, but it's just a moment. So it's important too, but the most important part is the journey. And this shift in perspective for me is crucial to live a fulfilled life. To reaching this awareness is very important to construct a very strong routine. I think that all the people are different, and maybe some people have more talent compared with others. And so we start from different levels. It's normal, it's the life. But I think that if you set the goal that is coherent with your actual level, you can structure day by day a system of habits that can lead you to that goal. Just with fortune, maybe in one case you can reach that goal, but without hard work, it's very difficult that you will reach that goal.
What are your thoughts on the theory about flow? Flow theory, popularized by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi and now by Stephen Kotler of the Flow Research Collective, talk about this sort of skill challenge sweet spot, finding something that's not too easy but not too hard. Stephen Kotler gives a number 4%, make it 4% challenging. I don't know how you measure that, but that's for flow. I'm not sure. It seems like what you're talking about is maybe something beyond flow, maybe a little bit more challenging, pushing harder into the challenge. Flow sounds a bit comfortable, like it's like a little bit too easy. Maybe it's not 4%, maybe it's 8% or 10% for you. And maybe we all find our own number that we feel comfortable with, but you don't want to be too comfortable. Yeah, what are your thoughts on flow, and how challenging should we make the endeavor? You can't make it too challenging, can't make it too hard. So Stephen Kotler gives this number of 4%. How would you explain it?
I think that 4, 5, 6, or 8% are just numbers, and we have to feel our sensations. I think that you have to push your limits a little bit because without overcome that, you will not be able to grow. This is my personal experience. For example, when I joined a high rocks race in Rimini in June, and I will compete with the pro category, and I'm not pro. Maybe this can be a little too much, but based on how you feel and how you are, you have to set your level and your goal. But the most important thing is to overcome your precedent result. So, for example, if I go to the gym every week and I'm able to do 20 push-ups in one session, maybe the next week I have to do 21 push-up, because if I don't do that, I will not able to grow. I have to embrace a little the discomfort. I don't know how to set a number to define that situation, but I'm sure that based on who you are and especially on how you feel in that moment of your life, you have to push a little bit more compared with the previous time.
Yeah, the number thing doesn't work for me either. I'm like, 4%, what's that? But we know what 0% is, or we know what -1 is. Okay, we're doing something too easy. So we could just set it at 1% or above and let the feeling take you there. We talked about some of the ways you prep using meditation, breathing, cold exposure, etc. There's a couple more things I want to talk about. First, let's talk about your actual workouts in terms of time. How long do you work out for? High rep, low rep, how heavy the weights are. Again, this is going to be like nutrition, very individual. Everyone's going to have their own way of doing it. But from your experience with yourself and with your friends in the community, what seems to work best for you in terms of being able to optimize for the actual challenging experience that's coming?
I'm working out 4 times per week, and I'm going to my CrossFit box very near to my home. It's a fortune that a beautiful CrossFit box opened 3 years ago nearby my home. And about the workout, we work with a coach that prepare the exercises for us. So we can just work out in the open class, and we can do whatever we prefer. But the coach is very prepared, and I usually join the class. And in this session, the workout is structured with a first part of warm up, where you have to warm your body with simple exercises without weight and some stretching mobility. And after that, we work with some weight. There are a lot of CrossFit exercises very similar to the weightlifting world, where you can use the barbell to do, for example, clean and jerk or squat with the barbell. There are a lot of exercises, and in this phase of the workout, we work with important weight. Based on your skill, you can load the barbell. For example, yesterday I jerked 75 kilos. And after the weightlifting part, there are a final part where we practice a circuit. In this part, there are a lot of different exercises that you have repeat without pause. And I really love that part because you have to find the mental force to work without stop. And I think that this type of training is very good for the health and also for improving your mental strength.
Awesome. And yeah, next let's talk about nutrition. Once again, this is going to be very individual, but we are still all Homo sapiens. I'm curious about what foods strongly affect your cognition, help you feel calm, help you feel focused, and then maybe other foods or the same foods that help you physically perform. Maybe it's physical and mental performance. Yeah, what are your sort of superfoods, and what are the ones that destroy you, that make your brain shut down or your body misperform?
I think that I will shock you because I don't follow a specific diet, but I'll try to explain what is my nutrition world. I'm trying to consume a very few amount of red meat, just one time a week. And I love during the breakfast having a light breakfast with yogurt, cereals, just water. And before starting my job, I love to take one espresso. So a very simple and normal breakfast. About one thing that have a very bad impact on my body are the French fries.
French fries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. In general, because it's very difficult to the digestion. It's very hard, and I now I'm 36 years old, and it's better to don't eat that before going to sleep. And another thing is about the alcohol. I have a very limited consume of alcohol because there are a lot of science researches that alcohol have a very bad impact on our body. And so sometimes I love to drink beer with friends, but I'm trying to limit this consume.
Yeah. You mentioned Andrew Huberman earlier. I think he is one of the people who's really got this message out there about the damaging effects of alcohol. There are others, Peter Attia, Matt Walker, the sleep guy. But I mean, it seems like now we are learning through these very these people that we like and that we believe, that we trust, these nice educators. But yeah, alcohol very damaging, and fried food, man. If I had to choose between like sugar or fried food, I guess I'd take the sugar. Fried food seems to be the worst. And then combine that with alcohol, boo, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, totally.
You mentioned earlier about this guy named Nicholas. Talk about what specifically he taught you, and what was it about him that made you really connect with that information and learn it?
The journey with Nicolas Luna, was and is an amazing journey, a journey of discovery. And, it seems that he found a way to help me to find my way. And I really appreciate that because his help is changing my life. And I think that he found the right button on me to help me to find my way. For example, last year at the beginning of the year, I was in a difficult moment in my learning English path, and Nicholas said to me, "Okay, Daniele, you have two possibilities. Maybe you can push a little bit harder and doing this all this work for the next few weeks, but I think that it's impossible to doing that because I didn't have students that had capable to do that. The second chance is to complete this homework in the 2 different months." And the way how Nicholas asked me these things, my brain said, okay, now I have to demonstrate to Nicholas that I'm able to do that. And I did that. And this was a turning point in our journey history. And then Nicholas helped me to find a way to mix the English stuff with my passion. And this is why I'm posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah. How about your karate coaches or your soccer coaches? Talk about them, and maybe also how they might have helped influence you into becoming a better manager at your company.
Sure, sure. I think that Nicholas is a mentor, but first of all, is a coach. I think that in my karate and soccer experience, I met a lot of a mentor. I remember clearly one of them during the karate, Gianmarco Citelli. I didn't hear him anymore, but I hope that he will find. And he taught me a lot of unbelievable lessons when I was a child. And, I think that with good and bad stuff, I'm the person who I am, thanks for what I learned from him.
How about we finish off on some nice, happy soccer or karate memories. What were some of your fondest, happiest memories of those days?
I remember when I played soccer, another challenging experience. So I always played for the soccer team of my country, and I found a coach that it wasn't the right coach for me in that moment. So I decided after I think 6 or 7 years that I played for that soccer team to change, and I found another coach that he believed in me, and we were a different goal for that season. We had to don't retrocede, to didn't retrocede, and during that season, thanks also to this amazing coach, I scored a lot of goals, and I remember, maybe the better goals that I did. I ran into the midfield zone, and then I dribble a lot of a person, and I shooted an amazing goal outside the area. And I still remember the sensations, the crowds, the people around me, and it was amazing, and I still feel that sensations in my life, on my skin.
Wow. So yeah, that's very interesting because I asked about your happiest memories, and actually, your happiest memories were sort of the most challenging ones. So a challenge and happiness on the field, in life, at work, in relationships. Jumping into those and leaning into those might sort of be a key, not just into succeeding physically and mentally, but also being happier. Wow.
Yeah, totally, man.
And another point there is, yeah, we talked about some of the, I guess to sort of sum up, we talked about some things we could do alone to help us with these challenges. And I guess now happiness as well, meditation, breathing, cold exposure, mindset. But there are even bigger pieces, perhaps, other people. So the social connection, the coaches, the teammates, the friends, the girlfriends and boyfriends, and family and parents, and all these people are probably perhaps even more powerful than, yeah, cold or breath or meditation. But I don't know, cold exposure and breathing are pretty powerful things. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your memories, your tips, and all of these great things. If people want to connect with you, where should they go? I know you're going to say LinkedIn. Anyway, go ahead.
I think that this is another complicated question. And by the way, I think that through LinkedIn, I'm able to tell to other people my personal journey. And a lot of people at work, but on LinkedIn too, started to ask me a lot of stuff about this world. And I hope that I can inspire other people through my journey. If someone it will be interesting to go deeper in this topic, I will able to help, and I will able to discuss about everything.
I will. Thank you so much, Daniele. How do I say goodbye in Italian?
Ciao a tutti.
Okay. Ciao, Daniele.
Thank you, Michael.